All right, hobby YouTube friends, we got to talk about this particular question because I want to do a Fanatics Fest recap. I got so much content. I have so much that I want to show and cover and recap. But this question is dominating the hobby social media, hobby airwaves, the hobby news, story, all that. Yes, Fanatics game was great, and Tom Brady won and all this stuff, and I did kind of like reporting, kind of like having fun with that, cosplaying as a reporter. But that doesn't really have to do with the hobby, right? Fanatics games. That's like the sports world and just kind of like sports fandom. This is the number one hobby question that everyone is trying to grapple with, grasp or try to get a hold of. And the question is, and then I had to put here because I didn't want to write this whole thing out again. Was the 2024 Panini Prism rookie Jayden Daniels Black Finite 1 of 1 500,000 sale by Roth Cards and Sports Card Taxi to Josh Harris and Commanders real or fake? All right, so here's the thing. One thing before we get to the question itself. I feel bad because I kept calling it just Roth Cards. I think other people were as well. But apparently Roth Cards and Sports Card Taxi both co-owned the card. I don't know if it was 50-50 or how much each of them were into the card, but it is not 100% owned by Roth Cards. I can at least verify that. Did the actual sale go through? Did the money get transferred? I do not know. I actually would love to get Roth Cards and Sports Card Taxi, or one of the two, to come on to my podcast to talk about this. I'm sure they're going to get a lot of interview requests, but I would love to know how this all transpired. The actual sale, about whether it's real or fake, I think comes down to, was it staged, right? People are wondering, was it pre-planned? There's so many deals that people make on content, on camera, where it was pre-negotiated, was it organic? Was it authentic? And so I want to let you know that I do not have 100% answer as to one way or the other, but I wanted to actually address this question because it is so important. It is the battle between hobby positivity and hobby negativity, all right? And you know that I've been talking a lot about that. So this particular card, I can't get into the actual, it was like a BGS 9.5 too, right? So BGS got a little bit of love or a little bit of a bump. I don't know. I could not find Beckett in the show floor. Apparently they were there. I do not know where they were. I know CGC had a big booth. PSA had no presence. And I know that Zeigler, what happened to Zeigler? So I won't even get into all the grading part, but I did want to kind of give the full kind of title of this card. $500,000, okay? So I thought that the negotiation, what we saw on camera, like a lot of us saw on camera, I was not at the trade night. I did try to get in. I tried to get in with my media credentials. It was really interesting. It was really interesting to see the multiple different types of, I don't know what to call them, like gatekeepers. Like some people were very understanding and some people were like, no, it doesn't matter. So I wanted to cover the trade night and not even like necessarily like buy, sell, and trade, but I wanted to cover the trade night. And I won't say who it was because I don't even know who it was, but there was this one person was like, no, you can't go up there. So I got pretty good access throughout the entire thing, but that one particular event I could not cover. I didn't want to wait in line for like 45 minutes to just get in and cover the event, because then by that time it would have been over. So I wanted to kind of talk about this because from what I saw on social media, there was a little bit of back and forth. You don't get the full thing, right? You got to chop it up for time. So they're asking, does anyone have, like, what's the most expensive Jayden Daniels rookie card out in the audience, right? So that's the question that was posed from Michael Rubin to everyone, and apparently a lot of people raised their hands. I talked to some people who were there, and I talked to some people who were friends with them. I will say I have no conflicts. I have no vested interest in defending Roth Cards and Sports Card Taxi. I'm not friends with them. I'm not affiliated with them. I've met them. I've met Roth Cards in my first ever Chantilly show 3 years ago. Sports Card Taxi and I think Sports Card Plaza. It's like the Ramos brothers. I'm sorry if I get it wrong. I've met them before. I think they're nice, pleasant. I've never done any content with them. No affiliation. Nothing like that. Okay. I know the rumors about Roth Cards with like the subscriptions. buying people, buying subs and all that. I don't know. I do not know. But what it comes down to is, do you believe that sale, the negotiation, the hey, the Skeens did this and then this other card did that, and kind of back and forth, and then Josh Harris, when I say Josh Harris and the Commanders, he is the owner, right? He's the not the CEO, but yeah, he owns the Commanders, right? And so he's there, Jayden Daniels is there, Michael Rubin's there, and this card is there with these two individuals. So they raise their card and they start negotiating, and then they come out to the price of $500K, which I presented that question, that poll on Instagram, and I said, do you think it was a good buy or bad buy? 2/3, and if I have time to edit this, I will. I'll put it right here. 2/3 of people thought it was a good buy, and a third thought it was a bad buy. We know that the Commanders, kind of like the Skeens thing, it's marketing. It could be a tax, it can be a business write-off, an expense that they could say, it's for marketing. So, a billionaire buying a car for $500,000 is like, they're finding loose change in the couch, right? So, whether it's a good buy or bad buy, we will see. But I do like the fact that these sports teams are getting into, maybe, it's pricing out. Imagine being like a millionaire and wanting this card so badly, and yet you got outbid or outpriced by a billionaire. I mean, I guess that's got to suck, but I don't know. The question, though, I'm going to get back to this, right? I think that if you think this was real, you are not 100% in the realm of hobby positivity, but you are kind of like someone who is thinking, okay, this happened and it actually was a real negotiation, and I love the hobby and I really like to see it kind of move forward, and this is great for the hobby, right? The people who think it's real, it's great for the hobby. The people who think it was staged or fake, and I won't say fake, I'll say kind of like staged, is hobby negativity, right? And the thing about me is, I have definitely been in the kind of like, I've questioned things that companies have done. I have questioned, I've called out bad actors. I'm trying to get away from like the content where it's all like kind of like just doom and gloom, or like, I don't want to live in the world of doom and gloom. I don't want to live in the world of sunshine and rainbows. I think I'm like squarely in the middle right here. You may disagree, but I feel like I kind of call it even. And when it comes down to this, I think that this sale is almost like a Rorschach test. It's where it's like the ink blots and you just try to decipher what it is, or you just tell the person administering the test what you think it is. I think that if you believe that this was staged, you are generally leaning towards the hobby negativity, right? You're jaded. You are... No, I don't want to say jaded. Look, I'm not going to say anything bad about the folks who are in this camp. I have hobby friends who are in both camps, okay? I also have enemies who are in both camps, but I'm not going to give shine to all that. What I wanted to say was, I think that if you are in this area, maybe not jaded is not the right word. It's more like, I think you are more of like a critical thinker. I think you question things. Maybe you are, maybe I'll put jaded here as a question mark, like jaded. I don't know. Maybe you are jaded, Jayden. I don't know. Here, if you're real, I mean, the people who think it's staged, they're going to look at the people who think it's real and go, oh, you're sheep. You just believe everything on the internet, right? So the negative connotation here will be like sheep. Sheep? I don't know. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But I want to put this out here. And then when it comes to kind of like a positive way to put it, I think that maybe, you could be called someone who's an optimist, or, optimist, believer. I don't know. Believer? I don't know if that's the right way to put it. Maybe I'll have to like cut that out. But basically, you're in one of these two kind of like, camps or sides, and maybe, you might go from one to the other, right? Initially, you may think it's staged, and then you're like, you know what? Maybe it was real. Maybe you initially think it's real, and then maybe with more information that comes out, makes you believe something otherwise. I know that these two they have to. They're definitely going to be making content out of this entire thing. I can't wait to see it. I know people will, dissect it, analyze it, try to come up with their own, conclusions. They'll treat it like the Zapruder film, where they just kind of go, frame by frame to figure out, what inconsistencies there are. But here's the thing, and I've lived in both camps, okay? And I gotta say, like, you can't. I've questioned things in the hobby. I really have. And I just know that you can't bark up every single tree. you got to pick and choose your battles. I don't know if this is the battle to fight and say this was staged. There's certainly some other content that came out of Fanatics Fest weekend where I think maybe it was contrived or staged or, maybe pre-negotiations. I'm not, and I'm definitely not going to say which ones I think it was because I have nothing to go. I have nothing to prove. I have nothing for proof or evidence. So it would be me just completely guessing, right? And I don't want to do that. Here, there's nothing that I saw where I thought, man, this seems contrived or fake. Granted, I wasn't in the actual room. I think that people were in the room, and again, I talked to some of them. They're like, absolutely it was not. But do they have a vested interest in saying that it's not? Possibly. But I just don't, if I really had to choose, right? If someone was like, you can't be in the middle here. You have to choose one of these two. I am just more inclined without more information or more content or more evidence, whatever you want to call it, I'm just inclined to think that this was a actual, decision, that it was actual transaction. Again, I don't know if the actual money went through and it was wired and all that stuff. I have no clue. Does Josh Harris have, 500,000 laying around and it's given to Roth cards and sports card taxi in like a duffel bag? I doubt that, right? But I mean, there was $1 million in a duffel bag from Fanatics games, but I don't know how much of this is is it contrived? It's possible, right? I'm very much, if I had to say, I'm not 100% sure that it's real, or I'm not 100% sure that it's hobby negative. I am leaning more towards it being that it was an actual transaction or an actual negotiation, and that the card got sold, and that this person has more than $1 billion and they can absorb it as marketing expense. So I just want to make this quick video. I don't want to belabor the point. I think that it's not bad for you to critically think. I know I have followers, supporters who are in both camps, and certainly question things when you think something smells fishy. I just don't know what people are seeing other than, say, the jealousy or the, well, it wasn't me, or, oh man, he fleeced him and, oh, that was terrible. Unless there's actual something to go off of other than just emotion and, just guessing, circumstantial evidence, there's really nothing that I think would warrant saying that this was completely staged or fake and that it was contrived. I don't see it. I wanted to give my reaction or reaction video or just kind of opinion on the matter, because I think that there is this fight for the hobby, the soul of the hobby, between hobby positive people and hobby negative people. Again, I don't even really like the term hobby negative. I think that it's good to question things and be a critical thinker. And yet, for this particular one, and again, I have no I'm friends with Roth cards, or I'm friends with, Fanatics told me to say this. No, none of that. That is not the case at all. This is me just talking to you as a YouTube supporter. If you are not a supporter and you want content like this, please subscribe, okay? I will do a self-promotion there. But this particular transaction, where do you stand? Put it down in the comments. Tell me whether you think that it was real, whether it was fake or staged, and I want to get a discussion going, because I think this is a really important thing. It's a Rorschach test for the hobby and for you. Thank you for watching. I will see you at the next time.